You are listening to Kaisers Kastle.
Hey folks, welcome to Kaisers Kastle. Take a seat on my big orange couch, pour coffee, tea, relax, pop a beer, or some other adult vibration. Enjoy yourself, because we're about to have a chat. The title of this, I just did this to see what's going on with YouTube. My channel for the last few shows have been getting messed up. Things getting edited, this, that, and the other. So, and it wasn't done by me, because trust me, I got mad boomer skills. You're not seeing any editing done by me. Couldn't do it if I tried. What I am going to tell you is during my time and doing what I do, I have seen many times that you'll have some embranglements with people. You know, they'll be like, what are you doing this for? What are you doing that for? Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it never worries me. It's just a part of doing it. And what's funny is normally they understand. They're like, yep, just, you know, this, that, and the other. And be like, okay, cool, whatever. That's just the way you have to deal with it. These are good times. So I think everybody should keep a positive attitude and never let them grind you down. There's always people out there that want to talk smack. You know, somebody's getting a divorce and all of a sudden they want to report you to somebody because they saw a picture. It matters not what they do, but you always know where the arrows fly, because when you're being interviewed, you can always do a slight interview back, and usually people don't realize that happened. So some piece of information will slip, and it points back to who did what and when. Kind of funny to me, but getting away from that. It's been reported to me by a bunch of people. Of course, I don't know it until after the show's done. I had a show that was like 12 minutes long, and I think it was like 5 minutes and something. That was on the Panopticon, the digital Panopticon. Can't remember where I left off on it. Don't want to start it up right now. It's basically, I'm doing a test right now to see what's going on, if it's YouTube or if I'm doing some mad mistake. So anybody out there in the chat, please let me know if you can hear me. What I want to do tonight is a little audience participation. If you're in the chat, feel free to chat, you know, send me whatever. I'd appreciate it. Hopefully I can get somebody on for tonight. That was my goal, but that sometimes doesn't happen, and it's just one of those things. You can't really worry about it. Shit happens when you party naked, right? So with that being said, I find it interesting that today was a good day, and this is why I say keep positivity. The actual Memphis Belle was placed. They flew it on over with a few other B-17s and some of the old escort aircraft for them in World War II. I can't think of their names. And the actual Memphis Belle went up into the Air Force Museum in Dayton. But then the other two, the Memphis Belle, the movie aircraft, and I think the other one was called something Liberator or something. Can't remember what it was called, something like that. And didn't really pay attention. Liberty or Liberator, I can't remember. Those were your two options, and of course we chose to fly on the Memphis Belle. And it's funny because it was a B-17G, and there was some rich guy who owned it, and the movie creator said, well, we want to use it for a movie, so can you change the front end on it? And he did. And it looks just like the B-17. I think it was a B series that they had, you know, that looks just like the Memphis Belle, almost. I mean, you could, when you get up close, you can see some of the fine line detail work. But other than that, it's flawless. And because it was the movie one, you know, people who are all about being authentic, they wanted to make a big deal to the guy who owned it and said, hey, you're going to have to put some designation on it other than Memphis Belle. So now they wrote the movie in real fine line under it. Kind of funny how people are particular like that. But the one thing they did do for the movie one, out of respect for the original, is one side there's a blue bathing suit, the other side is a red. I can't remember which side's on the real, but they reversed it on the movie one, so it could never be mistaken. But I guess people thought it was too close a copy that it might be mistaken. The interesting thing is, for an old bird, and it is an old bird, it was a late, like I said, it was a G series, and it was real bumpy and bouncy. Not a smooth ride at all. Didn't expect it to be. My better half was telling me, my wife, of course, Christine, she was telling me that you know, they didn't really build them for comfort. I said, no, they're utilitarian. I mean, like the rear wheel well was open, so honestly, when that wheel's down, you could probably get down that wheel well if you were small enough. When it comes up, the daggone big hydraulic thing comes up almost to your face. It's wild style. But I was sitting down by the rear door. It was an experience. All the firearms that are on it were converted to be non-firing, just because the owner didn't want to deal with, you know, the laws on the books. But there are some of them out there that are fully compliant, and they can be used, you know, if somebody wanted to do that for whatever reason, you know, a movie or whatever. But it was a really interesting thing to have seen this bit of history. And even though it was late war, it was interesting how it still was utilitarian. I mean, pretty much even the other one was an actual G, so you could see the difference on what they were. So the interesting part comes when all of a sudden you can see that difference and look at the other one and see where they kept it just basic. It would fly, it would drop its bombs, and hopefully you'll get home. But the airframe actually is pretty phenomenal when you research into the B-17. There were, you know, instances of the whole entire face of the cockpit being blown out. We had met the pilot years ago, Robert something or other. Got a signature from him, and that was when they weren't flying them for you. And anyways, the interesting part with him was he was like, yeah, we said, how much of that's true? He goes, well, there's a lot of Hollywood in their last flight, so we don't really know what was true about that movie and what isn't. He wouldn't go into detail. But, and we're just talking about the crew, but like the damage they had on the B-17, that, you know, there have been B-17s, you can see the file footage with their back directional blown basically almost all the way off, just like in the movie, and them limping home on only an engine or two. So it was a good aircraft. With that being said, I hope that every one of you, if you have something on your bucket list I hope you're all able to find that and do it. That wasn't on my bucket list, but you know, it was an interesting thing to do, to see, and as I was told, to think about how small quarters. You know, I've always been a ground combat guy. I mean, yeah, they use helicopters or whatever to get us to place, but that's just the thing. But to be on a bird that you're going to actually be over a target for a while, and then you're going to have all kinds of flak and other aircraft trying to bring you down. There's a little difference where, unless I'm like up on a building roof and it might be slanty or something, and I get shot and I fall to my death that way, this is a thing that you're going to fall to your death if they shoot it down. And, you know, as I was looking at that door, I'm talking to the crewman. And the crewman was fascinating. I said, look at the hinges, man. Look how the door opens. Is that the way it's supposed to be? He's like, yeah. I said, could you imagine having to try to jump out that? Because even if you're at maximum speed just going forward, this is not like jumping out of an aircraft. That door, the pressure on it would be amazing at 190 miles per hour. Plus you'd have to dodge the rear tail, which is massive. You know, the rear leveling tail. So that was an interesting thing to think about. But just think, if you got shot down in it, even if it's fluttering and falling, to get out that door, that would have been a feat. So there's no wonder so few people survived, you know, out of those flights that went down. But I just thought that was interesting to note. Thought I'd give you my little thoughts on it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the talk. But as I said, you know, things can always look bad, but never let them get you down. Live your life. Be positive. Do your thing. People will appreciate it. Always share it with your friends. Maybe it'll inspire them to do what they want to do and enjoy something that they want to enjoy. I don't know if I'm talking to nobody because I'm not getting anything in the chat. Earlier I got something from GJ Maple asking if the chat was open. Yep. And so told her I'd go live in about 30 minutes, and I kept to that schedule pretty much. Just trying to let you guys know, you know, it's a good time. Just live your life. Keep a positive attitude. Always be positive, even in the worst of situations. When you think about it, them boys back in the day, on all sides of that war, you know, they're going up there and they were doing it live on both feet. And I'll bet even if it was going down, they'd be doing everything they could do to be positive and try to make make lemonade out of the lemon that they've just been dealt. So, just a little, I don't know, maybe inspirational talk. I don't know, maybe a boring talk. Who knows what you think. Okay, there you go. See you, GJ Maple. There's always something to, yes, right. There is always something to be positive about. Even in the worst, you can always find that nice golden thread going through that silver cloud. So that's something that I truly believe. As always, you know, I just want to keep it short because I guess nobody's able to join for tonight, and that's fine. But hopefully you've enjoyed it. I enjoy talking, and honestly, I do this for my family and for the few people that I know, and I'm surprised that I have as many people as I do on my channel. I'm sure they're not all wishing me well intent either, and they know I'm talking to. So, with that being said, never let the bastards grind you down. Alright? And I think with that, we're about to do the outro. And when that starts, I'll be telling you, thanks for stopping by Kaisers Kastle. I always enjoy having you here. Be well, be safe, and most importantly, God bless and keep you all. Shove out.